Oh. Hold on. I might have hit the button a little prematurely. Hello. I realized I wanted to change something real quick. Like, as soon as I hit it, I was just like, you know what? I'm not where I wanted to be. Whoops. Anyway. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between off the spectrum. My name is Prince Kitsune, and today... today... it is a brand new year. Or at least, you know, it's not a brand new year from the day before, but a brand new year from the last time that I was here, which was like 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was. I don't remember. But I was away for the holidays. I'm now back. I've actually been back for about a week. I think I flew in last Wednesday. But I've been really busy with with work. You know, the whole working a full-time job thing, yeah. So, you know, I wanted to get back to streaming a little bit sooner, but just haven't been able to. You know, especially because I wanted to prepare for this stream. I was doing some, like, you know, some writing and brainstorming just about, like, what I wanted to talk about, and, you know, even what I wanted to put here. If you see, I have a nice little slideshow going on the top right there. It's a little bit new for me. I've never done anything quite like this before, but you know, I thought it'd be kind of boring if it didn't have some sort of visual aid. Plus, I had that space left on the overlay, so here we are. But I wanted to, now that we're starting a new year, to kind of sit down and talk about my plans for the year, both, you know, short-term and long-term stuff, because, you know, I'm a big fan of New Year's. It's actually my favorite holiday, mostly because of the idea that you can use it as, you know, a reset point in order to come back to things that maybe you've been struggling with for a while, or maybe, you know, haven't been able to figure out completely, and come back to them with a fresh start. I know there's a lot of how should I say, jadedness. Is that a word? There's a lot of jadiosity. No, that's not right. Jadedness is probably the right word. There's a lot of people who are jaded about New Year's, just like, oh, it doesn't mean anything, just like any other day. And I'm just like, yeah, sure, that's fine if that's what it means to you, but I don't know. I like the idea of, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a jump off point for new things, but it can be if you want it to be, man. And really, it's just about how well you are able to actually stick to your goals. Which is another reason that people get so jaded about it, because you're just like, oh, everyone gives up their goals 2 weeks in, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, most people. But I am not most people. Just kidding, I totally am. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't had many goals that have failed almost completely from the start, but, you know, that's just life. Hopefully today, or, you know, none of the stuff that I talk about today falls under that category, though. This is all stuff that I really want to get done. So I just thought I'd come on here, just kind of lay it all out for everybody, and have this kind of video here, kind of bastion of everything that I want the year to be, so we can come back to it later and just kind of see what we ended up actually getting done. So let's see, where should I start? Should I talk about last year at all? Last year was a bit of an awkward one, at least when it comes to content creation and stuff, because I was very inactive for most of the year, or about half the year, I should say. I don't know, it was really awkward, because going back to what I mentioned about the whole full-time job thing. I started one last year. So that kind of changed the amount of time that I was able to put into streaming, like a lot. Like a lot. There was a very long period when I started working where I was just focusing on that and just trying to figure out how to get used to everything. So I think it ended up being like 4 or 5 months or so, something like that, where I just didn't stream, didn't really upload anything at all. Don't want to do that this year. This year I want to be a little bit different, obviously. Back then I was kind of okay with that because, you know, it's not like I was missing out on anything really. I did barely just started streaming and all that, so, you know, I didn't have a whole lot going for me that I was okay with, that I wasn't okay with, you know, missing for a little bit. Plus that was, you know, my goal all along, right? When I started streaming, I was looking for a job, something that could support me full time so that I could do this in my spare time. I'm not the type of person who's just going to launch into something not knowing, right? Or not having a backup plan anyway. I don't expect to be making any money off of YouTube, honestly. As many, you know, as lofty as the goals I have for myself are this year, making money is actually not even one of them. If I do, that's great. But, you know, I already have that covered, so I'm not as directly worried about it. But anyway. So, yeah, a lot of my goals for this year, 2024, are related about actually getting into the swing of things. So, that's what we're gonna do right now, get in the swing of things. I'm sitting here, I have a nice warm, almost empty cup of chai that I made before the stream. I don't think I got it hot enough, so it's already kind of cooling, so I've been drinking it kind of fast. But it's very delicious. Yeah, it's already getting lukewarm. Thankfully, it's almost empty, but yeah, I just wanted to grab a nice, warm, wintry drink. Just while I'm talking about things. We're just gonna sit down, finish the last, like, 2 sips of this thing, and talk about the future. So, if you would take a look at my little slides here, watch what's gonna happen. It's gonna blow your mind. Whoa. I hit a key and then it moved to the next slide. No fucking way. Anyway, so I forgot to mention one other thing. I have 4 main goals. You know, 4 goals, 4 tails. 4 is a pretty good number for me, so I thought that was an appropriate amount of goals to have. So this is my first one, the one that I've already spent a lot of time working on. It's work all 365 days of the year. So what I mean by that is I just want to do something related to content creation, even just a little bit, right? Even if it's just a short 20 or so minutes. That's like the time allotment that I've given myself. 20, 30 minutes a day for every single day of the year. Now that may seem like a lot, and obviously 365 is a big number. But what I've kind of been realizing recently is that in order to stay up to date with things, you kind of have to be doing it every day. And that's a piece of advice that you get from a lot of people who have been successful in, you know, whatever field that they've ended up in, right? But I actually used to be, if anything, I was a little skeptical about that, because my philosophy used to be, doesn't matter when you get the work done, as long as you get it done within a certain amount of time, right? Which I think is fair. But I think the underrated part about doing it every day is that it keeps you in the habit. And that's really what's important. Part of the reason that it was so easy for me to fall out of streaming, I actually tweeted about this like a month or 2 ago, because I went on vacation for Thanksgiving. I was gone less than a week. It was like 4 or 5 days. Then somehow that 4 or 5 day break turned into a 3-week break from streaming, which is, you know, kind of unacceptable, at least if you want to do this kind of moving forward, right? And I do. I mean, obviously, here my expectation is not necessarily to be a full-fledged content creator just yet. I'm just working myself up to it. But I realized part of the reason that it was so easy for me to end up, you know, with such big gaps in my production was literally just that I wasn't doing it every day. So, you know, one day where you just don't get anything done can turn into two, can turn into a habit, right, if you're not careful. So I wanted to get in front of it this year and at least, you know, make sure that it's on my mind, that I'm thinking about it at least a little bit every day, and you know, actually making progress. So going back to those slides which got on my setup right now, they're actually really small because I have like multiple windows open. I can't even read my own slides. But you know, like the sub points, they're just about like the things that I want to be doing with my time here and what I plan to do kind of on a day-to-day basis. In the same vein of working every day of the year, I also want to try to release either a short or video every week of the year. Now I forgot to mention too that I would also, in terms of full videos, want to release one of those a month at least, if not more as well. I just kind of forgot that was a thought that I had. But short or video, I guess it doesn't matter, as long as I release something a week. So far I've been doing that. It's been 2 weeks. I have 2 shorts up. I have a few more on the way, and I have plans for plenty more as well. Thankfully I had some stuff that I just had been waiting to upload from last year. Which is good because, you know, I want to stay ahead of the curve. I want to have weeks in advance prepared. That's going to make it easier for me to stay on top of things. So I'm very grateful that I've been doing a good job of that. But yeah, so, you know, part of that is just going to be working on those, making sure that I have a short to go up every week, making sure that I actually get them out and get them uploaded and, you know, set to release on time. So far, I've been just releasing a short every Wednesday, 1 p.m. at least Pacific time. That's been what I'm doing so far. I might expand upon that if I get to the point where I feel like I'm, you know, generating enough clips to where I can release multiple ones a week. I might do that at some point as well. Just because I put out a clip, or sorry, a short or video 1 week doesn't mean that I won't post another one. Because, you know, some of the longer form videos that I have in mind, which we'll get to in just a bit, are not necessarily going to replace a short. If I just have a backlog of shorts ready to go up, I'll still probably release one that week anyway, but, you know, just giving myself the ability to have that kind of stuff if I need it. There goes the last of my chai. Darn. Part of the problem is I didn't heat it up enough. I forgot to turn the burner all the way up. So it did. I was waiting for it to boil and it never did. And I was just like, oh, yeah, right. Burner's not all the way up. Duh. Not that I necessarily need it to boil or anything. I just, you know, if it boils, it will stay warm for a very long time. But I also felt like that might make me have an easier time drinking it sooner. So I decided to just take it as is. But anyway, so that's one of the things that I want to do just kind of on a day-to-day basis, is just either stream or work on videos, right? Even if it's just a little bit of editing. I'm also trying to do things in a way to where I don't need to edit. Just kind of how I record my shorts. I have like a setup in OBS. I just hit a button and it'll record the last minute or so. That's where that's what I use to generate most of the clips that I have, at least the recent ones, with my full vertical video setup that I made. So definitely going to be doing that. If I'm streaming every week too, I will have the ability to do that, or, you know, hopefully be getting more things to upload, you know, kind of week by week. I did forget to put in this slide. I'm realizing now I didn't. The funny thing I've realized about this entire presentation actually There's nothing in it about streaming or about streaming schedule or anything like that. So I might as well talk about that now. I do plan to at least try to stream more. Recently, I've been streaming what I kind of figured out worked with my schedule. I've been streaming on my off days, which are Wednesday and Sunday. I usually stream a little bit later at like 8 to 9 local time Pacific. But I'm trying to stream earlier just because, you know, if I start streaming at 9, someone on the East Coast is watching the beginning of the stream at 12 on a Wednesday, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? So I'm thinking I'm going to try to start at like 7. 7 Pacific is 10 Eastern, right? Even on a weekday, that'll work for at least the first hour or two. And I've never been like a super long endurance streamer anyway, so, you know, 1 to 2 hours I think is enough for certain things that I'm going to do. But other times where I might stream, and I'm going to try to do one in a couple days. Tuesdays and Fridays, I get off work a little bit early. Part of the problem with, you know, streaming on days that I do work is that I just work late. I work until like 7 on my short days. And I work until like 8:39 on other days. So, you know, difficult to work around in terms of just trying to fit streams in. That's why a lot of my streams have kind of been late. So for those days, I'll try to stream if I can. I just kind of am going to take it week by week. Good thing about my job is that it's flexible, at least in the sense that, like, I won't always be back at 7. Sometimes I'll have the ability to get back home early, in which case I can stream closer to 7, and that makes my life a little bit easier. But on Tuesdays and Fridays, I'll probably do shorter streams where I don't have to like set up as much, you know. Like I kind of figured those would be like my just pick up whatever game I'm playing, just play for an hour or two just to hang out, just to be around, you know. Those would be my my flex days for that reason. Because on my main days, on my Wednesdays and Sundays, I want to do a little bit more. At least in terms of like doing more ambitious stream ideas and things that will lead to some of the other stuff that I want to do. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there. So going back to just like, you know, day by day stuff. Another thing I want to spend a lot of time doing is just upgrading my stream quality in general. Now that means a lot of different things. One of them is just like from a technological standpoint. Because I've been streaming for the past year plus on... How old is this laptop? Like a no, it's not that old. It's like 2 to 3 year old laptop, but the point is it's definitely outdated. It's not too bad in terms of just like running things. The big problem is graphics, because it does not have a good graphics card at all. So it's really hard for me to run things in high quality. You notice my streams are always 720p. That's the highest that I can run, and they're also pretty low bitrate, which I've never been happy about. And even then, they still barely run properly. You might notice, by the way, I'm actually moving today. That's another thing that is going to change soon as I upgrade things. I actually came up with this, or I figured this out a while ago. The problem is, I can't use this setup when I'm playing video games, because my computer cannot handle the capture and the model moving at the same time, which is ridiculous. I've never been happy about. So I was so happy when I figured this out. I have all these expressions, right? I have so many expressions to roll through, but I never get to use them. What's going on? Hold on, I'm stuck. This is the wrong one. There we go. Sorry, I have them, I have my expressions bound to keys that I probably shouldn't have them bound to. Because they do other things. But anyway, so I have all these expressions that I, like, never get to use. What the hell's going on? My Word document that has my notes for the stream is all messing up. It's like not responding, but it's like, dude, I'm not doing anything. I just have it open. I'm not even using it. I'm just looking at it. But anyway, that's one thing. So I'm trying to upgrade my stream quality in general. Soon though, I will no longer be held back by my laptop and its ability to render graphics. Because you might have heard me talking about this. I have mentioned it a couple times just on my streams. But I have been, for the last several months or so, I have been working on building a new PC. And I'm really excited about it because as of right now, I have one last piece left. Or actually, I guess two, because I have to get Windows. But you know, that's not hard. And it's not a physical piece, it's software. But it's a good point. Actually, I haven't thought about that. I should probably get my Windows key. But anyway, I have one physical piece of the computer left, and then I can finally put it all together. Really excited about it because I spent a lot of money. And I've worked really hard just, you know, in general to learn about all this stuff because I've never built a computer before. This is all very new to me. But I did like a shit ton of research and just like put a lot of time and effort and energy and thought into just what I wanted, what I needed. And it's about to pay off, so I can't be any more excited about that. I'm so freaking close. Got so many nice things. I think I'll probably eventually put some sort of details of my rig or what I end up with. I'll probably try to find a way to like either house that on like a card or something like that, to where people can look at it once it's done. I'll definitely post pictures of it when it's done because it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so pretty. I really can't wait. But I've got all this new stuff for my setup and everything, and I haven't been able to put the pieces all together, but soon. But once I have that put together, I'll be able to do a lot more things with the stream, and that's what I'm really excited about. And I don't just mean in terms of just having my little guy here move. Because there's also other moving pieces to my stream that you may or may not know about. Like this. Ooh, see? Now, I can't run that for too long or else my computer is gonna have a very, very hard time dealing with it. But all of my overlays and stuff, which I, you know, paid a nice little chunk of change for. Not like a crazy amount, but all of this stuff is supposed to move. It's just that my computer can't handle it, so I haven't been doing it. But soon, I'll re-render everything in much higher quality. I'll be able to, you know, make more adjustments on the fly and just, you know, also upgrade things in general. And I'll be able to make things move, and my computer will be able to handle it all, so look forward to that. It's only a matter of time. If it's not this week, because I get paid tomorrow, and I might go get that final piece on Sunday, maybe. Although I am trying to stream as well. I mean, I'll get it soon. I don't know. I haven't figured it out exactly, but the plan is sometimes this month to get that last piece and then put everything together. So yeah, but in addition, come on, man. In addition, I'm also just generally going to be looking for other ways to make the stream experience a little bit more robust, I guess, a little bit more pleasant. Just a little bit more going on. So that'll be another thing that I'm trying to work on at least a little bit, you know, or at least an option for something I can do on a day in and day out basis. Because I've been seeing a lot of people do a lot of cool things with VTubing recently, and I want to get in on that action. Granted, there's some really, really cool things that people are doing, but I don't know that I'll have the ability or like the ideas that some of these people have. But I want to find ways to stand out. I want to find ways to improve just what I do here and to make the experience for everybody who may stop by as entertaining as possible. So definitely going to put a lot of thought into that and try to be upgrading things little by little. All right, so what's the other thing that I put? Oh, yeah. The final little sub bit of this one is actually just kind of the overall goal of everything that I'm trying to do here, I think. Is just establish myself as a creator. Last year, the big problem with just not being as active, right, is just not making a lot of progress. And, you know, like I said, I don't expect to become anything amazing right away, but I do want to get somewhere at some point. I guess that's pretty vague. I just mean that I want to be able to do this as much as I can. You know, this is not just something that I want to be a hobby or just a way to like meet new people. It is something that I eventually want to do for a living, or at least content creation in general. But, you know, not anywhere near that yet, but I need to start making some first real steps towards that goal. So that's just the general overall thing that I want to do this year. I just want to establish myself. You know, just wants to be stuck as a small channel forever. At least, you know, if that's not your goal. Not to say that there's anything wrong with being a small channel or a small creator. I think a lot of people are perfectly okay with that. You know, and that's up to you. Like, what your goals are with your content creation is 100% your decision. Just for me, I don't want to be a small channel. I want to actually... I want to put things out there. It's a little complicated as to all my reasons for wanting to be the, you know, successful at this, but maybe that's a conversation for another time. The whole point is that that's the main goal of this year. Everything that I'm doing this year is to try to establish myself as legit. I want to have the ability to, like, not just the ability, but also the confidence to actually show people what I do here. You know, like, point out my channel, whether it be to other creators or, you know, even creators a lot bigger than me, and just say, like, hey, this is what I do. You know, I want to have something that I'm proud of and that I feel, you know, has merit. Because right now, my channel and, you know, just my content in general feels very incomplete. Which it is, you know. Kind of by design, just because I haven't tried to complete it yet, but that's what I'm doing now. But anyway, so in terms of just like what I'm looking for overall, or like what I want to get to, slide number 2, the second big goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, I thought about this at first. I was actually this goal was a lot more vague. I was extending it to other platforms as well, where I was like, oh, I want to reach 1,000 on something, right? Whether it be YouTube or Twitch or Twitter. Granted, Twitter I'm doing a lot better. You know, I have like 400 something on Twitter. Respectable, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that was probably not the best goal. Because honestly, on Twitter, you can just kind of play follow for follow with VTubers, because there are definitely more than 1,000 VTubers out there. You'll find enough people who will follow back, and you can get yourself to 1,000. But if your audience is just other VTubers, right? Everyone has their own shit that they're working on. Everyone's just kind of trying to like make their own stuff better. It's really hard to find an audience of other VTubers when those people are spending their time working on their own content as well, instead of just, you know, viewing. There's a lot of people out there to watch, so if you're trying to mingle and network with thousands of people at a time, right? All those people are trying to do that with a bunch of people as well, so it's going to be really difficult for you to stand out and for you to demand people's attention. And I've never wanted that, right? I've always wanted to have a following outside of, you know, and outside of just other VTubers and outside of friends that I want to meet. Although I do obviously want to do that as well. So the reason I ended up changing this goal though to YouTube only, right? Twitter, I didn't feel like that was a satisfying enough goal. Because Twitter, really, you don't need content to grow, right? It's just socially. You know, you can network on Twitter and grow without really making any content even. Which is not what I wanted to focus on. But I did also take Twitch off that list too. Now, if you've been around recently, you might know that I've been trying the dual streaming thing. I was on Twitch for a while first, and then sometime early in the year I decided I want to switch to YouTube, but then a couple months ago, Twitch announced that you could dual stream and that they'd no longer have a problem with it. Because before, I was actually, I mean, I still am, technically, a Twitch affiliate, right? And that was part of the affiliate agreement, is that you can't multi-stream on other channels, right? You can't stream on other platforms at the same time that you're streaming on Twitch. But as soon as that was no longer the case, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should go back to Twitch, kind of do both at the same time, right? See if I can tap into some of the people that I knew on Twitch or whatever right beforehand. But nothing really changed. You know, like I didn't feel like I was getting anything from dual streaming. It was just kind of straining my, not my computer, but straining my internet. Not that that's a problem. My internet can take anything. I have fiber, so I'm all good there. But I just felt like I was putting in any extra effort for not really any reward. But as to why I've given up on Twitch in general, I, for a long time, have been growing less, how should I say this? I'm not super happy with the platform and how it's been run. And I also just don't think it's a very good fit for me and what I want to do. So I got to figure out like how to word this in a way that like doesn't accidentally come across as like mean or just like negative to anybody who's on it. But I realize I don't really vibe with the culture of the platform. And by that, I don't mean like individual creators. I'm not here to rag on anybody in particular. That's not really what I mean. It's really just my problems with Twitch have a lot to do with just how the platform is built and what it rewards you for doing. I think we very often see news about just like random channels that you never heard before going to like great lengths in order to get attention, right? And that's what a lot of Twitch has become. Just like, how can I get as much attention as possible? Which is something I really don't vibe with. That's not why I'm in it, right? I'm in it to make things. I'm in it to hang out with people, share experiences and all that. I'm not in it for attention alone. And I feel like having to compete with people that will go to such great lengths to get that attention, get, you know, people paying attention to them like that. Not the type of competition I want to go up against. Because I don't think it makes me better as a creator. So I've always liked YouTube kind of for that reason, right? YouTube has always just had this culture of you create your own little corner of the internet. So that's always what I wanted to do, and that's what I want to continue to do. Twitch is not as much like that. I think Twitch... No, another thing that I don't like about Twitch is you kind of have to be online all the time. Which does not work for me, obviously, as someone with a full-time job. I'm not able to be here night in and night out. That's just not how that works for me. So, in all that time that I'm not online, right? My channel is not doing anything. It's not growing. It's barely, you can barely host any videos or clips or anything from previous streams, right? Nothing that you do has a life on Twitch outside of when you're live. And that's another thing that just really, really does not work for me. And I think it's telling that one of the biggest pieces of advice that streamers give to like young streamers is to be pushing your content on other platforms in order to drive people to Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the platform itself is not exactly self-sustaining. And it's just like, okay, if I'm going to be pushing clips out on YouTube to try to get more viewership anyway, why would I want to then take that viewership and try to push them to a new platform? You know what I mean? I think that's a little counterproductive, especially when YouTube is a fully capable streaming platform on its own right. You know, and obviously there are a lot of different things going on with the streaming, right? It's not a one-to-one comparison because, you know, Twitch has a lot of features that YouTube doesn't. I think everybody who has made that Twitch, you know, popular creators and stuff have said that as well. That one of the big flaws with YouTube as a live streaming entity is just that it doesn't have a lot of the features that Twitch has. Doesn't have a lot of the features that Twitch has, and it just, you know, it doesn't really hold up against what you're capable of doing in a Twitch broadcast. I almost said bride stream broadcast. And I think that's a pretty valid point. There are a lot of features of Twitch, and there's a lot more integration with Stream, and there are a lot more like plugins and like Chrome extensions and stuff that will allow you to do cool things on Twitch that you can't really do on YouTube. There's a lot less of that in the YouTube sphere of it. But that's the thing for me as well, right? I don't want to use a lot of those features. I'm actually not a fan of a lot of them either. Because a lot of people will say, well, oh, Twitch has so many more features compared to YouTube. But for me, that's actually a bad thing. That's actually a problem with the platform and why I don't think it's a good fit for me personally. Because I just think there's too many. I think it's bloated. And I think it's only going to get more bloated as time goes on. Because here's the thing about Twitch, right? It's always had to have like a popular way to get people to pay money in order to sustain itself, right? So for a while it was Twitch Primes, then for a while it was gifted subs, then it was sub trains, and now it's super chats. Although I'm not really paying attention to Twitch that much right now. I don't even know how well the super chat thing is going. But it works really well for YouTube. That's all I need to know. But the thing is, right, they've always kind of had a premiere function like that. And they've always had to, after a while, replace it with a new one in order to get people to spend money. And that's why I say I think it's only going to get more bloated. Because that bothers me. At some point, I think it will just be too hard to keep up with all that stuff. Because the thing that scares me about that as well is that, like, if your content for whatever reason doesn't lean well into that, like if you don't do the type of streaming where super chats is really going to help you, then suddenly, you know, you might see a downturn. I don't want that to happen for me. I want to be able to do what I want to do consistently. But you know, a lot of that is just kind of speculation, and we'll see how it actually goes. But I have my eye on Twitch for that reason. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to be sustainable to keep coming up with new gimmicks to get people to spend money. I think at some point the dam is going to break. And it's not going to be pretty. But there are a lot of things, you know, not to get into specific to behind the scenes that have come out about just like, well, maybe not have come out, but the things that Twitch as a company has messed up. Not to say that YouTube is perfect either. That's not my point at all. But there are definitely cracks in Twitch's armor that make me not feel that great about it. I guess. I don't know how else to phrase that. I don't know if that's, you know, 100% articulate, but there are issues with Twitch that I don't feel like are good for me. So basically, like I was saying before, I like the idea of YouTube kind of becoming your own little corner of the internet. And I like that you have the ability on YouTube to push things out to new audiences, and YouTube is much better at getting new people to see your stuff than Twitch is, which is what I'm trying to do right now, at least at this stage of my career as a streamer, right? get new eyes on my work. So in order to do that, I feel like I need to be putting all my time into YouTube. Because again, like I said, Twitch, you have to push things out on other platforms. And I was trying to do that, but I felt like I was just being stretched too thin. But on YouTube, right? Every video that I make is for YouTube. Every short that I make is for YouTube. Every stream that I do is on YouTube, right? It's all contained in just kind of this one place. So it makes it a lot easier for me to push things out because I know it's all going towards the same goal. Whereas if you're trying to push things out on different platforms, it's really rough to be successful doing that. Because you need one of them to kind of go off. You need one of them to hit for the other ones to kind of come with it, right? Because if you actually start doing well on Twitch, people might want to see more clips. People might watch you on YouTube. Then those videos do well. Those videos get sent to more people, right? And then more new people come in. Or the opposite, right? You put out stuff on YouTube, right? A bunch of new people see it, and then they want to come to your stream. That's the traditional way anyway. But I just figured it's all in one place, right? Someone watches my stream, they like what they see, they subscribe, and then they watch the next video, right? Or I put out a video, a lot of new people see it, and that brings people to the stream. Now look, you subscribe for the video, you'll see the next stream on my feed, or on your feed. You'll see the next stream on your feed tomorrow, right? And that's kind of the idea. You put it all in one place, you can build like this kind of all-encompassing body of work, and that's what my goal is. And I think that's an interesting thing that's kind of underdeveloped, at least when it comes to the YouTube space, right? The streaming is still new enough to YouTube. Most of the people that stream on YouTube, honestly, either prioritize streaming or creation, right? They're not trying to be... Rather, I mean, there are people who've migrated from Twitch to YouTube are trying to be all-encompassing, right? I just mean that there aren't as many people that are trying to do that from the ground up. And I don't think anyone's really laid the blueprint for how to do that from the ground up, at least not in this day and age. I haven't seen like a famous streamer or creator rise from YouTube while streaming exclusively on YouTube and having all their stuff kind of on their channel there. So I want to give that a shot. Honestly, I think it's pretty underrated what you can do with the YouTube platform right now, at least in terms of having all your stuff in one place. So I want to be someone who can push that. But another reason I'm so interested in that, in pushing videos and shorts and stuff, is because I think VTubers need to push that stuff as well. I think this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think the initial wave of VTubing hype is over. I think last year was a pretty clear indication of that, but I think it was starting to end before that. But I think it's over in the sense that you're no longer ahead of the curve just for being a VTuber, right? That no longer is a special thing. Because enough people are doing it now, or at least trying to do it now. The market's become incredibly saturated. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just kind of natural growth, natural ebb and flow, supply and demand, all that stuff. But what that means is in order to stand out now, you have to be a lot more creative than you did before, right? And I think one of the ways that we haven't, as a community, been doing a good enough job at that is just videos, shorts, content creation outside of streams. Because really, I think VTubing as a scene has been largely held up by, you know, people flooding to streamers specifically because of the hype, right? But a lot of the content that gets pushed out for VTubers are clips, which are often not even pushed out by the VTubers themselves, ironically enough. Which I think is a bit of a mistake, right? Because if you can create a really popular clip channel from other people's content, why can't you do that for your own? And I don't even think it has to be that. I think there are all different types of content that VTubers can and should make. But what I do see on on YouTube a lot, right, is I see the occasional like highlight video I see the occasional like best of video or compilation or whatever it is, right? But I don't see anyone who's really doing what most normal streamers do, which is make streams specifically to turn into videos. I don't think VTubers do that very well. I think VTubers have kind of taken the opposite approach of just like, I want to put out clips and videos and stuff to get people to come to the stream, right? But I want things to go both ways, you know? I want my streams to lead to good videos, and I want my good videos to lead to people coming to stream, right? Then you kind of have this back and forth ebb and flow thing, and then that turns into, you know, a real avenue of growth. So that's definitely a big part of my motivation. I want to try to find ways to make content in a way that most VTubers aren't doing yet, or at least haven't started doing yet. You know, because it's gonna happen, right? Because of the saturation, like I said, people are gonna have to do a lot more in order to stand out. And that's one of the things that's gonna happen. People are gonna start to figure out how to make VTuber content that's not just streams. So, you know, I want to be a part of that if I can. Because it's always kind of been my passion, is the actual videos and content creation aspect of it. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I might as well do it now. Streaming actually is not my passion. You know, I'm not streaming because I am in love with doing it. I like streaming. I definitely want to continue doing it, but that's not the be-all end-all for me. And, you know, streaming is the popular thing right now, so that's what most people gravitate towards, but it's never been all that I wanted to do. I've always wanted to do a whole lot more than just that. So I guess this is the year where we start that. So yeah, that's kind of my deal there, at least for now, when it comes with the content stuff. So I am still kind of leaving it pretty vague as to what type of videos and shorts and stuff that I want to make, but I do have ideas. Like I said a little bit earlier, big part of that is making sure that I'm actually planning my streams accordingly and doing things that might lead to good content further down the line. One of the ideas that I have, which I won't go too in depth about, because it's still kind of a work in progress, and I'm definitely not ready to start doing it yet. But I have a show idea that I am planning to implement at least at some point in this year. Hopefully some point pretty soon. I was thinking of ways to kind of open myself up for collabing more, because I haven't really done collabs. The only person I've collabed with is my artist, right? And, you know, we've only done that a couple times, you know, because he hasn't been as active streaming as he used to be. But I think in general, just I'm the type of person that like would prefer to do things on their own, at least if it makes sense to do so. But if you're trying to grow as a streamer and you're not networking with other people, you're not just trying to make friends, and you're not trying to make contact with other people, right? You're kind of severely limiting yourself, and I don't want to do that to myself. It's not just that I want to do everything on my own. Like, it's not like I can't trust people or anything like that. It's just, if I can do it on my own, I will try to until I realize I can't, and then try to find someone else to help. So basically, I've kind of built a show around that, just like opening the floor for people to come in and spend time with me and make stuff. I won't go into too much detail about what that show is. It's definitely something that I'm excited about and ready to get out as soon as I can, but not quite there yet. The only hint that I will give you is that it's kind of based on reaction content, I guess is the best way that I can phrase it. There's still a lot I need to learn about how that all works on YouTube to make sure that I can do that properly. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, just kind of developing out the show, making sure that I understand what I'm in for and what that idea is kind of capable of. But it's something that I want to get to soon, and I'm very excited about. So it's going to be a major part of what I'm doing moving forward in this year if I can. All right, so I think it's time that we move on to the next slide here. Oh boy. This one's a bit of a doozy. So, I know I didn't. I just put documentary, Takuma-sana documentary. I didn't put the actual. The goal is to finish it and get that video out. Hopefully soon. So, for those of you who don't know, I put a trailer on my channel like end of the summer or something last year for a documentary I've been working on about a VTuber by the name of Tsukumo-sana, who is no longer active, formerly of Hololive Council. And you may have noticed, if you have seen that video, that at the end I put a potential release date of fall 2023. And as you can tell, it is not fall of 2023. And the video is still not out. So, here's the deal. I just want to go to where I'm at right now with the video, okay? And if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen the trailer, by all means, go watch it when you're done watching this, whether you're watching the video right now or the archive later or whatever. But as for what I'm talking about, basically, like I said, I want to make a documentary about this VTuber who's no longer active, go through kind of their whole career and kind of create this time capsule for her. Since her time with us, God, I'm making it sound like she's dead, but her time with us is so short, right? So I just want to make something that encapsulates all of it, right? That people can kind of come to either reminisce on a time of our lives that is you know, that is no longer now, but I also wanted to kind of create a place where people can come back if they are new fans who just kind of, you know, were not around for that time. I want to have a place where people can come and just learn what it was like and just see what it was like to have her around when she was around, you know. So that was the original idea behind the video. As for where I'm at right now, like I said, I was planning to release it. I did have an original timetable in mind for it, but I had to push things back for a lot of reasons. Obviously, just, you know, the computer setup stuff that I was talking about before, I just don't have a strong enough computer setup to really handle a project of that size, particularly when it comes to the editing. You know, and I am still a decent way away from the editing, but let me just take a step back. As from where I'm at with the project right now, the whole thing is planned out. I know it says still planning. I just wrote that wrong. Still planning and scripting. I am still scripting. I've started the scripting. I've not come close to finishing it, but have done a decent amount of it. I have a few pages, at least. I don't remember how many pages I have, but I have several pages at least written. But I do have the entire thing planned out, so that's a clarification that I wanted to make. I have finished all the research and development aspects of it. I know exactly what I want the scope of it to be, all of the different sections and all of that, okay? It's not like I haven't been doing anything kind of in the meantime, right? But I've been stuck in the pre-production phase of it just because of what I was saying before about my computer setup, about not having the ability to handle a project of this size, right? Particularly when it comes to the edit. So I could finish the script and I could, you know, record it and start to edit it, right? But when it comes to handling all the footage, my computer as it is right now cannot do that. So my plan was to just upgrade my computer setup and you know, just start launching straight into it as soon as I get that figured out. What happened was I was originally just going to buy my computer a lot quicker or I was going to buy a pre-built one and then I was going to be able to just kind of launch straight into things right away, right? That was my original plan at the end of the summer when I made that first video. But I ended up just deciding that it would be better for me to just build the whole thing myself so that I could space it out and one, save money, so I don't have to spend a crazy amount of money all at once. But 2, so that I have the ability to customize it a little bit more. Is I'm ending up with something a lot more powerful for a similar price of what I would have paid for a pre-built one. But it's a lot more powerful and a lot more tailored to what I need because I was able to figure out how to make it myself. So that was the big holdup there. Just knowing that I wouldn't be able to work on it in earnest until I upgraded my computer setup, and now we're finally at the part where that's about to happen. So hopefully as soon as I get that computer built, we're going to start working on it more. I'm going to go back into the scripting of it. I'm going to continue developing, you know, the voice of it, the style of it, and all that. But at least for now, I know that like the structure is there, right? The structure is set in stone. I might change things a little bit here and there. Honestly, as things just develop within Hololive in general, I think there's a couple of tweaks that I've had to make. You know, one of them being the whole Hollow Promise thing. That whole rebrand originally was not going to be in the video, but obviously it had to happen for me to know to put it in. So I'll talk about that for sure. That's one of the things that I have added. You know, one of the things that has changed since I have, you know, put the structure of the video together. But yeah, other than that, I think a big holdup too is just my general busyness. Because like I mentioned before, I do work a full-time job. Okay. I also do some freelance work on the side, in addition to streaming. Also worth mentioning as well that I am working on this project alone, at least for now. And I edit all my own content as well. So a lot going on there. Finding time has been a bit of a nightmare, especially in the past year or so, but that's why I'm doing this now. Trying to commit myself to working more often and actually following through on the projects that I really want to make. And this is the project that I want to make the most. That's why it gets its own slide. But you know, in terms of what I expect the release window to be now, I think it's still a little bit up in the air for the time being. Because, you know, my priority with this thing is to make the project as good as possible first, right? The quality of the project is the most important thing to me. So I'm willing to take whatever time I need to make it as good as I can. Now, it doesn't mean that it'll just be months and months and months before you hear anything about it necessarily. I do plan to update more regularly. I know this is my first one in a while. I actually did another Just Chatting stream in like September for my anniversary that I had to take off my channel because of technical issues. So technically, without that video, we haven't had an update on the documentary since the trailer came out, which I am very sorry about. But moving forward, I will try to update a little bit more frequently once I have a better sense of what the actual timeline of the project is. I know at the very least I'm going to be releasing one more trailer once it gets close to release. Once I have a better idea of like when it's going to come out, I'll have a trailer that announces the release date. That I know for sure. Other than that, I will try to kind of work some sneak peeks in. I want people to get an idea of what the video is going to be like before they actually watch it, you know, to build up anticipation and stuff like that. But I also just think I want to sell the project a little bit, you know, in terms of just letting people know, hey, this is what it's going to be like. You're going to want to watch this, you know, this is going to be, at least I hope it is, something that a lot of people are going to enjoy. So I want to make sure that that's clear. You know, and because of this type of video, I want it to do well, obviously for my own benefit. That would be great. I would appreciate if something that I spend so much time and thought and effort working on would actually be appreciated by other people, but I want to do Sana justice as well, right? It's a tribute to her, and I want to make it a fitting one. So, you know, if that means that it takes a little bit extra time to make sure that I do it right, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take whatever I need to do it right, you know, because it's what she deserves. So, you know, if you made it this far into my rambling, please check out some of the other things I have on the channel as well. I'm going to be working on a bunch of other stuff. I stream every week. I'm planning on releasing more shorts and videos regularly, so by all means, please come hang out with me sometime. I'm you know, looking forward to meeting a bunch of new people. Hopefully that video does well. I think it has the potential to. But yeah, anyway. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. The next and last thing that I want to talk about is a big, a word that I've avoided using for a while. A word that terrifies me just to hear. And a word that I unfortunately have to hear all the time because, kind of an important one. Okay? Debut. Okay, listen. I know it's been over a year since I started streaming, and I have not made any progress towards the debut, really. There are actually two reasons for that. One is the aforementioned, just not having a good enough streaming setup to support an actual full model as of yet. I can barely support this little talking image that I have now that's without gameplay, without anything else on the screen that's moving. That's one of it. That's one of the reasons. The other one, though, is I always wanted to establish myself more as a content creator before I debut. You know, because I don't just want to debut for the sake of debuting. I want it to be an event. So, in that vein, now that I know that my computer setup is going to be able to handle the full thing, I need to start working towards the debut. So, my goal is to get it done by the end of the year. It is very much not in the works right now. It's not coming anytime soon. It'll definitely be towards the second half, you know, if I do manage to get it done this year, which I probably should. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We haven't even really excuse me, sorry. We haven't been working specifically towards it, at least not recently. I've been working on a lot of other things that I need to do with the stream, but I wanted to make sure, like I said before, that I had something going for me, right, when it comes to content creation, streaming consistently. I wanted to make sure that I got to a certain point where I felt like what I was doing is legit before debuting. Because once you debut, I want to be able to go kind of full throttle from there, right? So up until this point, it's been too early for that. It just hasn't been the right time and hasn't been necessary. But soon it will be. And now is definitely the start time. Now is definitely the time to start planning. That's the extent of my goal so far. I just decided, well, I should probably put debut on there because, you know, it's time to start working on it, time to start thinking about it. I do definitely have some ideas, not to say that I have nothing, but as I get more and more established and I get more and more into the flow of things, it'll make more sense to actually follow through on those things. So that's the plan. Debut second half of the year at some point, if I get to it. We're going to be working on things in the meantime to improve my quality, just to improve the model in general. Right now, the image that you see is not ready to be rigged at all. This is still kind of new to us. For those of you who don't know, my artist is not a traditionally a VTuber artist. He's a really good friend of mine in real life, that I've known for actually over half my life now. So he's the only person I've ever wanted to work with. But because of that, he doesn't have a lot of experience with VTuber stuff. And obviously neither do I, because I'm not an artist. So we've been trying to like kind of figure that stuff out. I still think I'll probably end up finding an external rigger But in terms of getting the model ready for that, definitely not there right now. We're actually going to continue making some improvements to it in part of getting it ready. So that's stuff we've already talked about. We are planning to do soon. We need to talk about it more, but that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start just by updating the model as it is right now and start getting it ready for rig. Then we can hopefully find someone to get that done for us. Once we get to that point, though, it'll be about planning the event and building myself up as a streamer first, so that I feel like I'm ready. Because you only really get to debut once, right? I know people do like re-debuts for like outfits and, you know, rebrands and stuff like that. I honestly don't plan to do that. I plan to, once we get this model ready, I plan to use it for a very long time. I'd rather just kind of keep one model and constantly be updating it and like building new outfits and stuff like that. To me, that's more satisfactory than it just having a bunch of different models. So I'm going to be building one that I'm going to use for the long haul. That's the idea. And then the event itself, I got to figure out what I want to do for that as well. Because it might entail some other art. I'll definitely get into some lore stuff as well. I've wanted to do that for a while, and just, you know, other things that you expect from a debut. So that's kind of the general process, right? We will start by improving the model, getting it ready to rig, finding a rigger, getting it ready to be taken care of. In the meantime, I'll be working on my own thing, just getting better at content creation in general. Progressing as a creator and an individual, and as a streamer. And then, when we feel like the time is right, we'll start planning and putting things together and getting it ready to actually go. In the meantime, though, you will get to see me move like this more often. Because as soon as I upgrade my setup, I'm going to go back to this. That's the idea there. I feel like I've said that over and over again. That's the idea, that's the idea, that's the idea. I have a lot of ideas. I don't know if you know this about me. But I don't do streams like this very often. And I think, honestly, I should start to do them a little bit more. Maybe like once a month or something, depending on what I have going on. Because I want people to just kind of hear what I'm thinking. I think that's just better. I don't know. But anyway, that's the last of my goals. We're going back. So just to recap, the 4 main goals, right? In order to establish myself as a content creator, I want to do something related to content every single day of the year, all 365. So far, I have not missed a day. I forgot to mention too, even if I do miss a day, I'm just going to do as many days as I can, right? So my secondary goal is, if I don't get to 365, I want to do at least 300. I think that's perfectly reasonable, you know, as a secondary goal if I mess up something. So yeah, so I want to be working every day that I can, hopefully every day of the year. My second goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I guess I didn't talk about that as much, but you know, the idea is just I want to make sure that what I'm doing is actually leading to getting new people to not just see my channel, but also want to stay. So everything is just kind of an exercise in that. If that works out, right, it would stand to reason that I should have some sort of a number goal in mind to kind of to reflect that. That's my goal there. Third one, release the Sonic documentary. I've been talking about it for a while. I wanted to do it forever. You know, and I've never really had like a big project or anything that I did for stream or that I like planned to be released and, you know, seen by as many people as possible. So that's a brand new thing for me as well. But I got to do it, right? Because I haven't done it before. Doesn't mean that I can't do it. I do know that I have the skill set to, 1, tell a good story, and 2, actually put the video together. I just got to do it. Just got to do it. And then the last one is just keep working towards debut. Whether that be working on the model more, learning more about what actually is necessary, right, in order to get it ready to rig. Who do I need to call to get my model rigged? And also just plan the debut event itself and just what I'm going to be doing content-wise afterwards. So, yeah. So all of that is just kind of what I hope to happen as a result of the extra work that I'm putting in this year. So we'll see how it all goes. I honestly have no idea what to expect. But part of the reason I wanted to do this stream is just to have it out there. So if I do not hold myself accountable and don't get myself anywhere clear or anywhere, if I don't get myself anywhere near any of these goals, you can laugh at me. Because I'll be laughing at myself, that's for fucking sure. But anyway, that's the last thing that I wanted to talk about. So, looks like everything is good stream-wise. I'm glad I probably won't have to nuke this VOD like I did the other update stream a while back that I was just talking about. Hopefully I never have to do that ever again, because as soon as this new computer is in, dude, I swear to God, this new computer making me so much things that I can do. I'm really looking forward to it. Every piece that I have, I'm really excited about. It's like, oh man, I have such a good graphics card. I got the fucking 4060 Ti. That's the last piece I got. I got that like a couple weeks ago, like a week or two ago. I'm just like, dude, fuck yeah. It's gonna be so nice. It's gonna be so much fun. Never had a computer this powerful. Never really had a desktop setup of my own. And then I'm gonna have the ability to do all these new things with my content, and very excited about that. So hopefully this is a big year, you know, because I certainly want it to be. Certainly gonna be putting in the effort to make that happen. You know, just the question of, is it gonna be enough? Do I have enough time to actually make it work the way that I know that I want it to? Or am I getting a little bit too over ambitious? Am I really going to be able to do all this stuff? Right? If not, what changes do I need to make? What am I going to learn from the whole experience and all that? So, yeah, that's where I'm at. But anyway, at least for tonight, I'm going to end. Because I think my music is about to end. Okay, I got like 6 minutes. This is an hour and 23-minute long music compilation, and we're an hour 17 minutes almost into the stream. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. I got work tomorrow, as people with full-time jobs do. I want to enjoy the rest of my night. But if you have watched any part of this video whatsoever, I just want to say thank you so much. And you know, whether it's sometime soon or sometime in the future, whatever it is, I just hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your rest of blah, blah, blah. Rest of your year from here. I still gotta get a little bit better at not talking over myself. But anyway, I will try to be back on Friday. I think I get off work early, so I'll try to stream. If not, I'll be back on Sunday for sure. In the meantime... Oh, fuck. What's my outro? I came up with an outro. I've been using it, but it's been a couple weeks since I've used it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, love yourselves, love each other, love the world.